Hey guys, welcome to today's vlog. In today's video, I'm gonna give you a pretty big update in my health and tell you a little bit more about what's been going on in my life, kind of where I'm at in my treatment plan and all those good things. We just learned something kind of big when it comes to my health in the last week, so I'm excited to share that with you. I'll share some other personal life updates. And also, I just want to talk to those of you who are dealing with chronic illness, specifically the diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia. There's a lot that I've learned and there's some specific things I want to share with you. Before we get started, I am so excited because this video is sponsored by Abridge. This is my very first sponsorship I have ever done before. If you've followed me for a while, you know I only talk about brands or products that I really love and use. And I'm really pumped to work with Abridge because this is a free app that in the past I really wish existed. I remember thinking to myself, it would really be great to have something like this to help me out with my health. So let me tell you what it is. Abridge is a completely free app, which is amazing that is completely free. And what you get to do is whenever you have any kind of doctor's appointment or health appointment, I'm honestly wanting to share this with my nutritional therapy clients. So to really show you how this works as best as I can, I figured I would just show you actually on the app. So it's really simple. All you have to do is open up the app and you can record any of your medical appointments right here. And you just tap this button and it starts recording. So you're having your great appointment, you're talking about all things health, and once you finish recording, you get to save the recording of the appointment right here in the app. So here's the really cool part. The app uses special technology where it recognizes certain health and medical terms. So using that technology, it basically takes notes for you and will just create little snippets of all the different aspects of your appointment. And you can just scroll through. For example, you can see we talked about my thyroid here. And if I wanted to go where I talked about free T4 or TSH, I could just click on that part of the recording.
Your TSH last time we checked.
And then I can listen to that part of the recording. I can also share my appointments with friends and family. It's super simple and secure, and now I have all these really awesome and helpful notes from my appointment. So I don't know about you, but going to so many long health appointments can be really overwhelming. But there's been so many times where I thought, man, I wish I could just have a recording of this where I could easily pick out all the different things that we talked about. This is what Abridge is for. So I did get to try this out for the first time in my functional medicine appointment last week, and my practitioner has quite a heavy accent and it pretty much nailed all the points on the app. So there's been so many times in the last week where I've been able to get back on here and listen over to different parts of the conversation, and I'm just really thankful for the ability to do that. So I just want to say thank you so much to Abridge for partnering me on this video. It's really cool to do my first sponsorship, and I'm really glad to do it with such an awesome app. And I really love that this is completely free to you, and I know so many of you out there are dealing with health issues, dealing with chronic illness, and I know this is something that's really gonna benefit a lot of people. So you can download the app completely for free by clicking the link in the description. Okay, now into the health update. Okay, so for those of you who are new or newer to my YouTube channel, my name is Mandy Meehan. You probably see that in my channel name. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner, and the reason I started my YouTube channel is because of pretty debilitating chronic illness. Just a quick backstory. So everything went crazy when I got mono right before my wedding, and after quite a while of really not having any answers at all, I got diagnosed at the Mayo Clinic with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So at the time, getting any kind of diagnosis after having no idea what was going on, that was kind of exciting. I knew it wasn't really answers, but it was at least direction. So after getting that diagnosis, I really tried to research and understand how to heal from it, but it was really disheartening hearing and seeing so many people just say that there's nothing you can do, that you're gonna deal with this for forever, and seeing so many people on the internet that have been really suffering for years and years and years. It's awful that anyone has to deal with that, and it was just really scary because you just don't really know what that means, and it's very far off from what you imagine your life to be. So, being the type of person that I am, I really did not give up. I tried a lot of different things on my own, and this was a really big mistake for me, is that I thought I could figure things out on my own. There really is so much you can do. There's so much information out there, so much you can research. I listened to books, I watched documentaries, I watched webinars, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and listened to podcasts. And all the while I'm documenting my journey here on YouTube, and randomly people are mentioning things like Lyme's disease here on YouTube, or mold toxicity, or heavy metal toxicity. And because of the way things happened for me, knowing what I knew then, I didn't think there was really any way that those things could be involved. You know, for me it seemed so clear that mono just messed me up, and then all these other things came after it. And yes, I'm telling my story, and yes, I'm telling you about what's going on in my life, but what I really want to do during this time is I really want those of you dealing with chronic illness to learn from me and learn from my mistakes. And I really hope to help point you. Maybe for you, you have a family member or a friend that's dealing with something like this. I really hope that we can help point people in the right direction. I know some of you just listen to this because you're interested in hearing about what's going on in my life, which is really funny that you just care. That's really cool. But I know a lot of you are suffering as well, so this video is really for you. So yeah, I kind of talked to some people about mold and Lyme. I did a basic test for Lyme and that came back negative. And I talked to some people about mold, and we all kind of thought, oh, there's no way, it doesn't really seem like that for you. You don't really have the allergy type things with mold. And so basically I knew a lot of these things existed, but I don't know. I don't know, for a while I just thought that can't be it, I guess. So after 2 years of really seeing the most difference, changing my diet really helped with inflammation and blood sugar regulation, which in turn helps a lot of different things. You know, I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. A whole food, nutrient-dense, properly prepared diet is one of the most foundational aspects of our health, but really I needed so much more than just that for me. I was supplementing, maybe some of the right ones, maybe some of the wrong ones, and also brain retraining, self-directed neuroplasticity through dynamic neural retraining system. Lots of words. That really helped me quite a bit, more than anything, honestly. But it still didn't take me as far as I wanted to go. So that's when last year, which was 2 years into chronic illness for me, I finally decided to see a functional medicine practitioner, which I actually considered seeing before I even went to the Mayo Clinic. And for whatever reason, I didn't. And, you know, I could feel bad about that. And this is another side tangent, because I know sometimes when we're dealing with different challenging things, we can be hard on ourselves because of what we have done or haven't done in the past. And I'm just a firm believer that God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So that means everything works together. I believe for me, there is a purpose in going to the Mayo Clinic and really not getting answers. There is a purpose in going to New Mexico to see a scalp acupuncturist and really being heartbroken because what I thought was really going to help me really did not. And there's just a lot of emotion around what went on that week. I think there is a reason that when we prayed, you know, the week of my wedding when I had mono, that God didn't heal me right then, or every single day afterwards when we prayed for healing. I believe there is a reason that I wasn't immediately healed or given the answers in that time. I think pain is important, and I often think that pain is really important to point you towards your purpose. That kind of sounds like a preacher doing some kind of alliteration statement. I really do believe that. And I know it looks different for every single person, but it's definitely true for me from what I've experienced. So finally last year, I did a lot of testing. The really expensive Lyme testing came back pretty much negative. One thing was equivocal, meaning you don't really know. It's really confusing. So who knows? Maybe I have that strain of Lyme or whatever. At this point, we don't really think so. But like many of you know, we did learn that I had very high levels of chemical toxicity. Honestly, pretty scary seeing how so many of these toxicants are connected to a lot of scary things, not just fatigue, but things like cancer. So as soon as I found that out, I started all kinds of detoxification protocols. So one of the really confusing things that I've talked some about here, I don't really know where I've left things with this, but the whole thing around mold toxicity was really confusing. When I did the testing, it came back so negative that my practitioner says there's no way I'm believing this. No one has zeros all the way down on mold. They at least have something, even from food. I mean, there's so much mold in the environment, you've got to be picking up on something. The theory was that maybe I was detoxifying so poorly that it didn't come out through my urine because it's a urine test that you do for mold. So now we basically know that that's true. So we found out that the house that I grew up in is really moldy. I think I've shared this, but it's important if you haven't heard it. So I talked to the mold inspector that tested my parents' house, and he said I would think that all of the girls in that little side of the house would be really sick based on the levels of mold in the house. And thankfully my parents, they were able to do whatever they needed to do to get rid of the mold. But now I know that was a really big part of my story for me. So there's some mold, the chemical toxicity. I also did heavy metal testing, and those weren't crazy high. Like, we didn't think that those were the root of what's going on for me, but I had enough of certain heavy metals that we know that they're contributing to what's going on. So this is what a lot of you might already know, is all of this part of the story. And just something I want to emphasize, really emphasize, because it breaks my heart. I get messages all the time and people will say, I just got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'm so glad I finally got answers. Maybe now I can heal. And I can't just give them medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not working with them as a nutritional therapy client, but I just want to tell them that is just a label. That just means you have pain and you're tired. And there is always a root. There is always an answer. The human body doesn't just randomly break and is broken forever. I mean, yeah, if you get run over by a truck, but that's not what we're talking about. So again, in the midst of my story right now, if you're dealing with chronic illness, specifically chronic fatigue syndrome or like fibromyalgia type ailments, please look into autoimmune disease, just leaky gut, aka intestinal permeability in general. Please look into mold toxicity, heavy metal toxicity, chemical toxicity, any toxicity whatsoever. Look into Lyme disease and look into chronic Epstein-Barr virus. Those are the ones that I hear and see now over and over again. And if I'm forgetting anything that you have seen connected to chronic fatigue syndrome, please let us know in the comments so people can know the type of things to be looking for, the type of things to be testing for, to be asking your doctor about. One I forgot about is actually something called breast implant illness. It's something that is not talked a lot about, and for those of you who've done a procedure like that, it can cause a lot of different symptoms. So that is also something to look into as well. I let my camera charge for a little bit, few minutes, see how it goes, but we're back. Oh man. Okay, so I gave you more of the backstory and then the recent news. So basically over the last few months, we did some blood work, we did a Dutch hormone and adrenal test, and we did basically a viral panel. And actually when it comes to my HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, that's actually doing really pretty well. In case you want to see, my cortisol levels are pretty good throughout the day. I was excited about that overall. And my hormone levels are actually pretty good, which is really exciting considering I've been weaning myself off of bioidentical hormones and my body seems to be producing and utilizing its own hormones very well. These are like the sex hormones that we're talking about. And also considering that I was basically menopausal a couple years ago when it came to my hormonal levels. and that I had all kinds of hormonal problems in high school. So that's really, really cool and encouraging. We know that I have a tendency to be more estrogen dominant, so we're keeping a watch on that, and we're gonna do some things to help continue to detoxify excess estrogens. And also it seems like my body is probably needing more progesterone, so I am gonna continue some bioidentical progesterone cream, which I am totally okay with doing that for now. So that was really encouraging. And the thing that I'm very most excited about is, it's funny that I'm excited about this. So I've been officially diagnosed by my functional medicine practitioner with chronic Epstein-Barr virus. Yay! And if we take a gander at my test results, my levels are very, very high. So for the Epstein-Barr VCA IgG antibodies, you want them to be lower than 18 to be negative, and if it's higher than 21, it's positive. That one is at 63, so pretty high. For the Epstein-Barr nuclear IgG antibodies, you want it to be lower than 18. If it's higher than 22, it's positive, and that one is at 488. So very, very high. I'm just really glad that we caught that. I told my functional practitioner, I'm really proud of how well I've been doing because my Epstein-Barr had reactivated that much. It's really actually encouraging that that's been a really big problem for who knows how long, but for a while now. And I've been making a lot of progress with that being really elevated. So what's really encouraging is now that we know that this is a piece of the puzzle, we can really attack it and see what happens. So the plan right now, I am on a pretty heavy duty antiviral. It is a prescription, it is a medication, which, gasp, some of you might think, I thought Mandy was into natural medicine. And we may transition over to more natural antiviral supplements, but right now at this point, me and my functional practitioner, we really agreed that it's time to just kind of sledgehammer through this and see what happens. I really want to get it under control. I'm really excited to see how much that helps me. And honestly, one of my biggest concerns with the medication is that it's blue. So I think they use blue food coloring, which I was telling myself, I grew up eating Skittles and Sour Patch Kids and I'm still alive. I grew up eating Skittles and Sour Patch Kids and I'm still alive. So because of learning about that, because of starting the antiviral medication, in the last week I have started herxing. The herx time of reaction is having a die-off reaction from whatever you're trying to treat, which I keep having to remind myself that's, in this case, probably a good thing. It'd be great if I didn't herx at all, that's possible. But in the last week, I've had some days where I felt really sick and I felt like I had mono all over again. And today I'm actually starting to feel back to like my normal again. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about all of it. There's still a lot I'm confused about. There's still a lot of clarity I need to get from my doctor and Rob, my functional medicine practitioner. But really, this could be one of the last pieces of the puzzle to getting me to feeling myself again. It's really exciting. Also, I can't get my hopes up too high because I know that healing isn't linear. It's a roller coaster. I think all of us know that. We have some plans for after being on the antiviral for a while to continue to address any potential mold toxicity that's still lurking. But all I can say is God is really good. He is so faithful, and I'm so excited for this new step in the right direction for me. But I can't tell you enough how much I hope that you never give up on what you're going through, that you always know that there's hope, and that you always continue to look for the answers, look for the root, the pieces of the puzzle, however you want to think about it, because I know healing is possible. I can't believe I've been able to do what I've been able to do, even while having reactivated Epstein-Barr virus. I've made so much progress, and I know I'm just gonna continue to see more. So my camera is about to die again. I'm gonna film the very end of this video in just a little bit. It's the next day, Yes, this is how I look right now. I haven't washed my face. I have leftover makeup smeared on. My hair is a disaster. But this is real life, okay? So there you go, there's my health update. A lot of you guys ask about how I'm doing, so I want to keep you guys in the loop. But what I really hope I was able to accomplish in that video was, as I'm telling you parts of my story and kind of where I'm at right now, that I tried to tell it in a way where it would be helpful to you if you or someone you care about is dealing with something like chronic fatigue. So as I was just editing all of this video, I made sure to add in some of the testing, just that list of some things that I think you should look for. The amount of chronic illness in the world today is completely unacceptable. It's really frustrating. I know it's super expensive and it can be really confusing to just figure out which direction to take. My hope and prayer is that for someone out there that this pointed you in the right direction. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Abridge for sponsoring this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet and you want to see more videos. You know what to do. Okay, well, you guys can just excuse me and I will see you in the next video. Bye.